Jill Evans, Plaid Cymru MEP. Is Wales making the most of what Europe has to offer when it comes to EU funds?
I don't think we are, and this is one thing that I've been pushing for a long time. Obviously, we have fought to get the best deal possible for Wales under the cohesion funding, which is the regional funding that comes to Wales. But there's a lot more than that as well. There are other funds for transport, for media, for young people, for all kinds of things, and we should really be exploring every avenue now, not only to get money coming to Wales. It's not just that. It's about creating strong partnerships, learning from what's done in other countries, but also showing other countries what talents and what skills and what we have to contribute to strengthening the economy, not just in Wales, but throughout Europe.
Do you think the Welsh Government appreciates what's there? Do you think there's an understanding of what perhaps is on offer if some of these funds aren't being taken up to now?
Well, one of the problems has been, particularly with the transport funding, for example, a couple of years ago when I was really pushing the UK government to apply for funding for a business case for the electrification of the North Wales railway line, for example. It was the UK government that were unwilling to do that. But I think that the Welsh Government should be pushing far harder for these things. I think that we are aware how important it is to our economy, and I want to work with the Welsh Government and with other parties, obviously, to get the best deal for Wales in Europe. And to do that, we need to look at the whole picture, and that's why I think that the report going to the Assembly Committee next week on how we do that is a very welcome one.
I mean, you've been trawling through some of these reports. What do you make of the recommendations that they've come up with? Is there more Wales can do? Are there some specific points that Wales should take on board?
Well, there are. I think there are some specific issues that we've been calling for a long time. For example, as members of the European Parliament, we need more information on what the Welsh Government's position is on European policies. Very often, the interests of Wales are not the interests of the UK, and so what the UK Government is pushing for in Brussels works against the Welsh interest, and that's something that needs to be highlighted very clearly. But also, I believe, to really make the benefits of EU funding clear to people in Wales and to businesses and to organisations that think they might be able to apply who haven't applied before, for example. I think the proposal for an EU funding champion in Wales is a very good one. Someone who people could approach, someone who would go around the country talking about how organisations and specifically the private sector and small businesses in Wales can benefit from EU funding and how important being in the EU is to the Welsh economy.
If Wales can get this right, what is it worth to the Welsh economy and to some of those local communities you were just talking about?
Well, obviously we've had billions of pounds in funding from the EU, and a lot of it's been used on fantastic projects. Some of it's been used on projects which have been short-lived and haven't created sustainable jobs. But I think that a focus on young people in particular, on strengthening the economy, in supporting small businesses, in letting the business sector lead on European funding strategy, I think is crucial, because one of the complaints we've always had is that the private sector has been left out of this, and of course they are key to strengthening and building the Welsh economy and creating a new future for Wales in Europe. Our aim, of course, is to move beyond the structural funds to ensure that the economy is strong enough not to have to depend on that regional funding, but of course all of the other possibilities, the culture, the media, the tourism, the transport funding, all of that is funding that all other EU countries benefit from, take part in and share experiences and best practice amongst themselves. And I want Wales to be one of the leading lights in that too.
You've just met with Jane Hunt, the Finance Minister. Was she receptive to these ideas? Are you on the same page as she is, do you think, on when it comes to EU funding?
Yes, we have had close links with the Welsh Government. Obviously, I hope now with the new funding programme that it's in a sense a new start, an opportunity for us to increase the profile of funding coming to Wales, to ensure that those people who can really benefit from it and create jobs, particularly for young people, will come forward, will take an active part. And I think that needs commitment from members of the European Parliament, from the government, from local authorities, from all of us working together. And this has happened in the past to an extent, but really I think this time is a crucial moment for us to take Wales forward, and we can do that by working together and by really showing people in Wales how important this is to the Welsh economy.